Fast forward, you come out channel so how age politics already. Political stories are trending because make headlines. Nigeria na EDB Akroma or channel iso. When it only on rock say one a day the kanya. Mr. So which must subscribe to the channel. His notification bell so na mwana channel na into emfa into mapa infra. Young writing sim kita se share any prohibia akoso or a scholarship secretariat. Asweye under nanado danquest Akuffo Addo mreso ana gifty oware eda sa eye secretariat ano maloka say on one kasa ne husband ni kunu enso ehu afolefolo bia onua anya asem koto akra edi na si Mr. say yemumrem na yendo ensem no esuko abra abediafo atrase na omoye ensem mu pensim mu.
Number of investigations, stories, the Fourth Estate have done some expose on the Scholarship Secretariat and how some persons who can afford are actually giving scholarships. And one person who's a lead investigator with the Fourth Estate is going to be joining us in a bit. They did this previously. Why did this continue even that after that expose that got all of us talking? Well, this is it. This is the man, the registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, who is saying that what has happened, quote, at the Secretariat is that when someone is awarded a scholarship, their wife and children are also added as dependents. And that's not even the sad part. Now, if you're reacting and upset about this one, he said that's not even the sad part, that their wives and their children are also added as dependents. And what this means is they're added as dependents. The Secretariat pays for all their visa processes. And if they say the Secretariat pays, what this means is that the state, you and I, we are paying for their visa processes and other related expenses. So just for the benefit of analysis, Dennis Paberi-Wadam, producer, gets a scholarship. Now, his wife and children are also added as dependents, and their visa processes and other related expenses are all taken care of by the state. In fact, it becomes the state's burden to do that. Their air tickets are also covered by the Secretariat. Then they are allocated stipends as well, all borne by you and I. And that's not even enough. It gives an example. There are memos showing official approval for these payments. Their tickets were fully paid for by the Secretariat. And he says they confirm that Peter Mensah has been awarded a financial scholarship by the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat to study LLM law at Brunel University, London, UK, which commences January 2022. Now, guess what? The scholarship covers Peter Mensah and his dependents listed above, and covers the students' tuition fees of £17,875 and the living expenses of £16,008 per annum. Now, it also covers his dependent, and look at the name there. That rings a bell. Gifty Efia Oware Mensah. Spouse living expenses of £8,160. Now, we're talking about Gifty Oware Mensah, who was the former deputy director at the National Service Authority, who is standing trial as well. You'll recall that the Attorney General has been giving updates on this entire national service scheme and what has been happening. Now, as a suspect, as was named by the Attorney General in that national service scandal that he addressed the press on a few months ago. So she's a suspect in this ongoing investigation by the Attorney General, but then again, she's mentioned here by the Registrar of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat as one person who also benefited as a spouse of her husband, who was a beneficiary of this scholarship scheme, because there was an allocation of £8,160 to living expenses for her. Now, this is just a highlight of what Mr. Aleskweku Safo J has been talking about, and why there should be matter of concern for us looking at the review of this entire scholarship scheme and what should be done going forward. And that's a conversation we're going to be having shortly here on Ghana Tonight. And thankfully, I've been joined on Zoom by one person who has done quite some work in this particular area, and really needs no introduction if you've been following his work for quite some time now with the Fourth Estate. We've been joined by Seth Kekeli Bokwe, a lead investigative journalist with the Fourth Estate. They did the recent expose in this scholarship, the awarding of scholarship by the Scholarship Secretariat a couple of years ago. We also have Dr. Peter Patianti, he's the executive director of the Institute for Energy, that's the Education, Studies, IFES. He's also joining us right now. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'll start off with you. Seth, you've done some work already in this scholarship awarding scheme at the Scholarship Secretariat. And if you could put your video on for us, that'd be good. Now, with that first expose that you did, what did you find? Reason why this latest development, being the updates from the current registrar, is of no surprise to you?
Fred?
Yes, I can hear you.
We, prior to our investigations, we had a couple of, complaints from the public that the Scholarship Secretariat was actually fleecing the public and taking money to sell scholarship meant for, needy people. So we decided to look into it and see who exactly was benefiting from the scholarship. Then it turned out that our elites, in fact, those who are the highly paid amongst us, are actually those who were receiving the scholarship. So, for instance, we found that the same giftee, Owari Abuaji, who today we are told is actually got spousal allowance, actually benefited from the scholarship. She was at University of Birmingham in the UK, got about £18,450.
I see.
We found.
Which year was this exactly?
This was in 2020.
2020. So she got the scholarship in 2020. Her husband, yeah, exactly, according to the current registrar, got his in 2022, and she was a spousal beneficiary.
Exactly. Then we had Dr. Dennis Addo, who owns a hospital at the airport residential area, Clarion Hospital. He got about $50,000 to study public health in Harvard. We had Fauzi Ramadan. The interesting part about Fauzi Ramadan's case is that he's actually the personal assistant to Semira Bawumia, the former First Lady, and a brother to the Adenta MP, Abu Ramadan. He had £17,355 paid to Brunel University in the UK to do supply chain management. He didn't turn up at the university because they claimed there was COVID. So we especially threw away that amount of money.
Wow.
We have Michael Oforiata, who we spent $16,700. He's a relative of the former finance minister, Ken Oforiata. We spent about £16,740 for him to enroll on a pathway program that could lead to a university course. Yes, That's how much we spent. Not that he was actually enrolled for his first degree program, but we're paid for a pathway program.
I see.
We had personal assistants to an MP, the former Impoho MP, Alex Kofi. We also had somebody who was an MPP executive in the UK, Charles Asma, who received about £28,380 for a law program. Freddie Blaze's daughter had about £5,000 to do course that will allow him to head to practice in England and Wales. And funny enough, she returned to defend Ashawan. And we have the former IGP, Asante Apitu's daughter, who was actually schooling in Ashesi University, and then she got a scholarship and left for the UK, University of Aberdeen. He spent about 27,000. The list is very long. 27,000.
The names you're mentioning just defies that requirement of being needy or not being able to pay for it.
Exactly.
Dr. Peter Partanti...
And another interesting thing we found was how people receive multiple scholarships. So somebody receives a scholarship in this year, completes it, and then gets another one.
Oh, I see.
The idea of a scholarship is that these people will return to come and serve the country. But we found that a lot of them, at least 104, for those we could track, 104 of them didn't turn up. Didn't return to the country to serve the nation. We interviewed one person who told us that they, for instance, find a way of paying their way out of the bond. So there were people at the Scholarship Secretariat who are able to, when you're able to pay the fee, pay about £10,000, they can, give you clearance not to return to the country to serve your nation. This is how it works.
Dr. Antti, you say that this is not surprising. I mean, with what you're hearing, you have some persons who are alarmed by this detail that Kekeli is just giving to us. But this doesn't surprise you in any way. Why is that? If you can unmute for me, yes.
Good evening to your viewers and good evening to the gentleman on the other line. Please, I'm a little bit taken aback, although I'm not surprised about what the report is bringing out. I'm a little bit taken aback looking at the amount of money involved and the personalities. Normally when even Get Fund and the other scholarship secretariats come out with their reports, we normally see some of these names and then the amounts involved. But it seems that over the past 4 to 8 years, it was really overboard, and that it's intriguing to note the names that are in there, the programs that they claim to have gone to undertake, and more interestingly, people taking spousal support and other things. We are just not doing the right things. Yeah.
I see, but you see, Seth, you mentioned something that this scholarship scheme was supposed to be just for, if you're going to do your first degree, you get it and go and do it. But then your investigation showed that an individual could get a scholarship from the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat to go do their first degree and get another scholarship to go and do their masters, all at the expense of the state.
Some were even double masters programs.
Double masters?
One person got, double masters.
Wow. And
somebody even got about 40,000 Canadian dollars to do project management, diploma in project management in Canada.
Diploma in project management, 40,000 Canadian dollars.
40,000. When we did a comparative analysis of how much that amount of money could sponsor somebody who is doing a master's program in project management in UPSA, we had over 50 people. It could actually pay for over 50 people in UPSA. That is how much we actually threw away on one single person to do diploma in project management.
I see. How come that after this expose that got the whole nation talking, this continued, and we're hearing the current registrar of this scholarship secretariat also crying about the same things that you did your hard work to expose?
I think it's basically because those who were in charge at the time didn't take our work serious. Nobody got queried, nobody got questioned about it. So it's basically meant that you could get away with it. So they continued. And I think another problem was also the fact that the scholarship secretariat at the time, I don't know what has changed now, at the time was actually under the office of the president. So they had a huge cover that they could do anything and could not be questioned.
I see. And Dr. Anti, so this is the same concern about the fact that, yes...
If I may add a little more.
Yes, quick.
I think the scholarship secretariat needs to be a little more transparent, because the scholarship administration under the previous government was not transparent at all. They claimed that they had decentralized the system to the extent that if you are in your districts, you are able to get interviewed and then get your scholarship. But we spoke to multiple people who went through the system and didn't get a scholarship. They did not.
Dr. Anti, you have been monitoring the work to review the scholarship, the law on that actually governs the scholarship secretariat's work. Will this new bill address the weaknesses that this expose, for instance, by the Fourth Estate has put out?
Yes, I think that the bill, as was sent to Parliament and withdrawn under the direction of the Minister of Education for further consultation to be undertaken, is being put in a shape that would at least prevent some of these things from happening. First and foremost, you cannot, take out the influence of the political class when it comes to scholarship administration. But what you can do is to minimize their influence so that those who genuinely need their assistance would be given that particular assistance. So you see that one of the things in the bill is that courses that can be run, programs that can be run or that are being run in Ghana would not be giving, people will not be giving scholarship to go and do it outside the country, which is a very, very important thing. We talk about transparency. There are aspects of the bill that seeks to promote transparency in terms of people close to political, those who are, they call politically exposed people will not be able to access these scholarship schemes. So, for example, if you had this law, the person that we are, the investigation brought up, that the husband and the wife and all those things would not have been, would not have had the opportunity to assess the scholarship as it is. One of the things that we are also pushing more is to ensure that the scholarship administration, maximum of them is done by the awarding institutions, that is for the universities to award the scholarship, so that at the end of the day, that kind of external influence and fairness would be brought to bear. We also hoping that the bill, as is undergoing consultation and review, would ensure that there is adequate room for appeal, so that when you apply and you are not given the scholarship, you can apply. You can appeal your rejection, and the reasons why you were not given the scholarship would be given to would be made clear to you. That there's also an attempt to ensure that programs, I mean, the specific direction of human needs that the country is going to, or that the country is looking for, is where the scholarships will be awarded. So there are certain programs that need special techniques that are not offered in the country. And these people, when they are given that opportunity, as the gentleman said, after the program, you're supposed to come back to the country. So there are modalities that the individual would have to go through so that after he's trained for a particular program, that individual would still come back, and then his expertise or her expertise would be useful to the country. So there are changes in it. The Scholarship Secretariat is now being molded into an authority. It will be moved from where it is. I'm thinking that it's coming under the Ministry of Education. It's not going to be under the presidency as it used to be. And if all these things are done, and the other suggestions that have come up, I think that we would, to a large extent, reduce the experiences that we had in the previous years.
No, Dr. Anti, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for joining us. And Seth, in a minute on this, because of the work that you have done and what the rot you have seen in the Scholarship Secretariat, what should be the way forward in addressing this corruption, essentially?
I think going forward, as I mentioned earlier, the system needs to be more transparent. If we are going to be spending the taxpayers' money on funding people to travel abroad, we need to publish the list every single year. It should not be a secret. If you are getting public funds to go and educate yourself outside the country, it should be possible for us to scrutinize the list to find out who is benefiting. It should not be rocket science. The public should not beg for something like that. It should be published every year, just as we publish we do the announcements in the newspapers. We should also.
We and some who team course watching on us, Mamma so Jim that's an so part in the Adumia. The essential, there are some more questions. Huge politics happening.